My name is Abdullah Hamid, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to profit from outside of your game. So why do we care about helping you guys make more out of your games? Is that if we wanted you to publish more of your games on the App Store, we would like you to actually be able to sustain that. We want your last game to be able to fund the next game, regardless of the platform. Like Mike mentioned earlier today, there was a new metric of what we call the app poverty line, which is $500 per month. And it ranges between 41 to 61% on different platforms. And we don't think that's enough. We want to help you make more money. Whoops. So most of the things that we usually do is optimize our game and look internally into our game. The things that we all learned about, and we have probably went to a couple workshops about this, focus on the core loop, your retention, your metrics, user acquisition. But all of you guys know this, right? And what I'm trying to teach you guys here today is to build more on that fan base. Make sure, build that fan base that will actually help you to monetize and create that kind of extra shell around your actual game. So I'm going to talk to you about influencers, and that's how that will help you do new acquisition to your game, as well as focus on content creators, and that will help you a lot with retention. And then I'm going to also talk about alternative revenue sources. The idea is to really have you think outside of your game and not just think inwards. So do games have fan bases? Absolutely. This is the World Championship of League of Legends. They fill out stadiums. On the Twitch streams, there was over 300,000 concurrent viewers at that time. And Newzoo is estimating that esports are going to reach about 500 million in market size by 2017. So let's talk about influencers a bit, and how do you encourage them? So these influencers are pretty much the early adopters. If you read a book called Crossing the Chasm, a lot of people in startups have read that book. Pretty much tells you to go into try to focus on these influencers and early adopters, because those are the people who are really going to help you get over that hump from just a niche product into an actual mainstream product. And these early adopters, instead of just dragging one person with them to play the game, they're going to drag a couple too. And that will definitely increase your new user base. One example so there's two types of influencers. There's the advocates and there's the professionals. I'm going to talk about each in a bit. So let's talk about advocates. Disney did an amazing job when they did Club Penguin. They actually did not sick their lawyers after 9-year-olds for creating stuff based on their IP. They actually encouraged it. So they published all the fan art that the kids were doing in Club Penguin and posted it on their websites and on the actual website of Club Penguin. And that really encouraged kids to just go back to their schools and talk about their fan art and how Disney chose it to be there. And that got everybody in the school to come and play the game, increasing the user base from that school. And that's just free user acquisition right there. Another really interesting thing that you can do is just talk to your players. Talk to them during events, during live streams, like what Vlambeer did here is complete genius. I think Vlambeer is they're the first people to actually do what they call performative game development, where they actually stream the game development process, talking with their fans, and actually having the fans influence some design decisions within the game. And that's how you cultivate these advocates within your game, and for them to talk to other players to buy your game, even before the game is even launched. And now we can talk about professionals. Everybody knows PewDiePie, of course. But let's get this straight. PewDiePie is not going to talk about your game. From what I heard, he's a little bit busy these days, too. But there's thousands, 200,000 and more on Twitch, on YouTube that want to be the next PewDiePie. And those are the people who you really should focus on. And the way to really get those professionals to talk about your game is very similar to the way that you try to get your players to convert into paying players within your game. Treat them the same way you treat your players. Lower friction as much as possible when you're trying to communicate with these professionals. First of all, you need to choose the right professional that you want to target. I mean, you can't go to a person that does Minecraft streams, for example, and try to get them to do streams for your intense action game. The fit is not there. So try to find a professional streamer or a media person that actually his content fits your type of game. As well, with your email that you send to these professionals, make sure that you got all the assets that they need to actually create content about your game. Make sure that there is art, there is videos, there is just text on why they should care about your game and why they should stream it. Have you guys ever heard of Press Kit before? It's actually a tool, very useful. It's actually open source, and it was created by Vlambeer themselves. And it's a way to really create press kit pages that are very friendly, and they're becoming kind of an industry standard to a lot of indie developers. So that's one way to really lump everything else together into one page and a press kit, and provide that to the professional that you're trying to approach. Also, make sure that you know these professionals and how they consume their media. For example, if they're an iOS user, don't send them an Android build. Make sure you send them a build that is suitable to the way that they stream things. If they're a Mac user, don't send them a PC version. Make sure that you reduce friction as much as possible when you're communicating with these professionals. So let's talk about the content creators. So there are two types of content creators. There are people who do tutorials and actual educational pieces about your game, how to play the game, how to master it, how to unlock, how to defeat this boss on level 4, stuff like that. And then there's people who just goof around making jokes, and they just want to show the fun related to the game. So make sure that you give you provide tools to these people to actually create that content that you want. For example, Minecraft takes this to the extreme, right? I mean, the whole game is built on content creation from the users themselves. Every time a movie comes out, like Hunger Games or something like that, you'll find content that was just ready. Some other person made that content, and that creates value within your game, and that retains user a lot better within your game too. Trivia Crack is another game. They started with, it's kind of a trivia type of game on mobile. Right now, all of their content is user-generated. So that just doesn't focus on getting more retention from within your game, but that also reduces your content creating cost. Now it's down to 0. So make sure you provide these tools to these advocates to actually create content from within your game. So how do you incentivize content creators to make that content? Make it easy for them to share that content. I mean, have a Twitch button on there. Just click the button, and you can just stream the content right away that you created. Promote the content that these guys created. These guys created really amazing content. Pack it as part of a DLC. Make sure that these people feel appreciated, too. Talk about their successes. Talk about their content on social media, wikis, forums, anywhere. By the way, if you don't have a wiki and a forum, go do it. Make sure that you're covered. Make sure that all of these outlets are there. I know some people think that forums are archaic, but no, you need to create all of these places where people can showcase their game and where you can actually recognize their success. Also, like I said, thank them publicly. Give them badges, give them t-shirts. Everybody in us kind of wants to be a rock star in one form or another. I made peace with myself that the closest I can get to being a rock star is speaking to you guys now. But these guys actually want to be rock stars. Make them into rock stars. So the third part I'm going to talk about today is external revenue and trying to find ways to create revenue from that fan base that you guys have now. First thing that's a no-brainer is having a Twitch channel, as well as a YouTube channel maybe. And you can definitely monetize that traffic, but it's going to be a slow ramp up at the beginning, of course, when you first start. It takes dedication and time and a lot of content creation to be able to monetize well on this channel. But there's another way that's actually a lot better to monetize, and that's creating products. I mean, Cut the Rope has some t-shirts. I did not know that Twitter has a cookie cutter. And apparently people like it. And if you actually have content, have product that you're actually selling, merchandise, you can actually make 3 to 10 times the amount of money that you would have made with ads alone. So yeah, make some merchandise, make some product that people actually want to buy. And actually, with that products, it's a really good way to monetize non-paying players within your game too. So a good way to do this, of course, like Mike said earlier, is merch by Amazon. I mean, it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter which platform do you develop for, or how much money you're making from this game. Just go and design some t-shirts and sell them through merch. I mean, so what Mike mentioned this earlier, you know, what type of shirts that you should make, you know, like 3 to 4 different colors, and put your either achievements. You already have that art, right? I mean, you got the achievements from your game, you got your art, your characters, your levels, anything like that. Just start designing your shirts and take care of them. You know, like the same way you want to make your game look pretty, make sure that these products and merchandise look pretty too. And one piece of information that is not mentioned here that I think is pretty interesting is that sales go up a lot more when you have a lot more characters within your shirt. So try to lump in a bunch of characters in one shirt and sell those. Those do a lot better than just a single character. But also the option of having single characters is not a bad idea. So let's recap a little bit. Focus on influencers. Those will get you new users, help them reach their audience, give them the tools, give them a version of the game that has all the levels unlocked. Have a version of the game with their character in there somehow. It's a special version that's not available in public. That's an idea. Just have that and give it to those influencers and have them getting excited about your game and expressing their excitement too to everybody else that's following them. Build content creators from within your game, and that will increase your retention. Help them be successful, give them the tools to create their own content within the game, and showcase their content, websites, wikis, social media, whatever, and make them rock stars. Thank them. Make sure that they feel appreciated. For example, if the game had a chat system, for example, change their color of their avatar or something like that to be special, and that will let other people know that that's a special person. People like to feel special, and make your content creators feel like rock stars. And the third is build your other revenue streams. Subscriptions and revenues from Twitch and YouTube can be a good way to monetize your community. Ramping up that traffic can be just a little bit hard at the beginning, but you can always go with merchandise and sell some products about your game, and that will be a really good monetization strategy for your IP outside of your game. Thank you very much. Here's a survey link. Tell me what you guys think about my performance today. If you want to learn more about merchandise, there's merch.amazon.com, as well as create a Twitch channel at twitch.tv. And follow me on Twitter at indiesaudi.com, indiesaudi, I mean. And yeah, if you want to know more about what we do at Amazon App Store and know more about how to develop for the Amazon App Store, there's developers.amazon.com/blog. Please register for merch. today with the same email that you used to register for the talks. And ping Mike. Contact Mike. Let him expedite your account so you can start with merch as quick as possible.